Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is TVP World. You're watching World News. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and these are the latest headlines. The European Commission says it has made clear to Ukraine that any mineral deal with the United States must be reviewed to ensure it doesn't put EU accession talks at risk. The comments come after media reports that U.S. President Donald Trump is pushing for first rights to purchase extracted resources, part of a highly contentious agreement between Kyiv and Washington. Our Kyiv correspondent Angela Skujins has the latest.
The European Commission says that it hasn't had any formal dialogues yet with Ukraine regarding a controversial mineral deal with the US. However, a spokesperson from the European Commission, that is the EU executive, said that Brussels has made it clear that Ukraine should seek and speak to the heart of the EU before inking any deal. Now, the comments came off the back of media reports suggesting that the administration of US President Donald Trump wants to be first in line when it comes to choosing whether or not it will invest in the reparation of infrastructure as well as mineral extraction. Let's take a listen to what that European Commission spokesperson had to say regarding these dialogues.
We're not aware either of any request, of any particular request in this regard, but the line has been conveyed that such an agreement would need to be looked into from the perspective of the relations between Ukraine and the EU, and notably in terms of the accession negotiations.
Now, the reason that this controversial deal could endanger Kyiv's long-held ambition to join the EU is that it would convene against the rules of the single market. Now, if Washington was first in line, it would give American companies preference for these minerals and thus excluding European countries. However, we can't jump to conclusions just yet, as we're hearing media reports out of Kyiv that senior officials are saying that this is just a proposal from the US and they will take the next couple of days to mull their options. Angela Skujins from Brussels for TVP World.
European Commission spokesperson Anitta Hipper dismissed the Russian president's latest statements, saying, quote, "Putin is a criminal and we won't respond to his propaganda." She made the comment after being asked by our reporter Angela Skujins about Moscow's suggestion to place Ukraine under temporary administration.
Well, Putin is a criminal and he's sought for war crimes, and we're not going to pay attention or comment on whatever he issues as propaganda. We will closely look at the facts. And the fact is that we have an aggressor. We have Ukraine, who's showing nothing but goodwill towards peace. And this is where we are in terms of our support to Ukraine and our focus on ensuring that we will have a long and just and lasting peace.
According to the German daily Die Welt, Thursday's summit of allies ended with no clear answer on whether Kyiv can count on Europe to act as a security guarantor in any peace deal with Russia. The summit in Paris, often referred to as the Coalition of the Willing, discussed plans for military and operational support for Kyiv during US-led negotiations. European leaders agreed that now is not the time to lift sanctions on Moscow. But Die Welt reports that the bloc remains divided over how to secure a ceasefire in Ukraine. The outlet concludes that it remains highly debatable whether President Volodymyr Zelensky can rely on European or other Western countries as security guarantors, and adds that the gathering could just as well be called a coalition of the unwilling. The bodies of 909 Ukrainian soldiers killed in the war with Russia have been returned to Ukraine. The announcement came Friday from the Prisoners of War organization in Kyiv. It follows a similar repatriation in mid-February, where Russia returned the remains of fallen Ukrainian service members. The soldiers died along front lines areas in the Luhansk, Donetsk, and Zaporizhia regions. Their remains will now be identified by forensic specialists before being returned to their families. Earlier this month, Ukraine's military intelligence agency, HUR, reported that more than 7,000 fallen Ukrainian soldiers have been brought home since Russia's full-scale invasion began in 2022. A Polish task force of several dozen soldiers has been deployed to Lithuania to help locate 4 missing American servicemen. Search and recovery efforts continued Friday after the soldiers and their vehicles disappeared in a peat bog at a military training area. Lithuanian Defense Minister Dovilė Šakalienė said on Friday that the soldiers have not yet been found and that their deaths have not been confirmed. She noted that the search team knows the general location of the tank, but not its exact position, and reaching it remains a challenge. The minister also said it's not certain whether the soldiers were inside the vehicle and that other scenarios are still being considered, offering some hope for a positive outcome. The vehicle was located Wednesday, submerged more than 5 meters below the surface of the bog. Hundreds of Lithuanians and U.S. personnel, along with dozens of vehicles, have been working at the site and combing nearby woodland in hopes of finding the missing servicemen. Greenland announced a new government coalition on Friday, just hours before the arrival of U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. The coalition brings together 4 of the 5 parliamentary parties, leaving out the pro-independence Narak party, which had previously shown openness to U.S. acquisition proposals. The recent election has drawn global attention to semi-autonomous Danish territory. The new government will be led by Jens Frederik Nielsen, head of the Democratic Party, which won the most seats in Greenland's March election and supports gradual independence from Denmark. Since taking office, U.S. President Donald Trump has voiced a desire to annex Greenland, citing its strategic value, a move rejected by most of the island's residents. News of the coalition comes as J.D. Vance and other U.S. officials are traveling to the island for a high-profile visit. In Myanmar, the death toll from Friday's 7.7 magnitude earthquake has risen to more than 144 people. The earthquake also impacted neighboring Thailand, where 8 people were killed in the capital, Bangkok, and over 100 remain missing. A powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck central Myanmar on Friday, also impacting neighboring countries. The quake's epicenter was located northwest of the town of Sujane. The city of Mandalay and the capital, Naypyidaw, experienced severe tremors. Multiple buildings, including a mosque and a bridge, have collapsed, and more than 700 people have been injured. Meanwhile, in Bangkok, rescue crews are recovering bodies from the rubble of a collapsed skyscraper that was under construction. More than 80 workers were trapped, and the rescue operation is still underway. The head of Reporters Without Borders in Turkey says prosecutors and judges are facing extreme political pressure amid a wave of journalist arrests. Erol Underotu made the comment while discussing the detention of reporters covering the recent protests in the country. He said that they deeply believe that prosecutors and judges have been subject to extreme political pressure in recent days.
We deeply believe that prosecutors and judges have been subject to top political pressure this day in Istanbul courthouse. And I think they find well to keep these journalists behind bar just for a day, to make the lesson for the audience, for the people which attempt to demonstrate. It is unique that a national TV station is banned for 10 days. Can you imagine the level of this sanction? The only action is to broadcast from the street to reflect the reaction of main opposition party MPs, to give the floor to experts talking about a polarized society, the danger of people to be exposed against each other. That's all.
And with that, we conclude this edition of World News. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.